Good morning, Toro Horse Insurance. This is Randy.
Toro Horse Insurance, this is Christine. How can I help you?
Toro Horse Insurance, this is Chad.
Oh, hey, Sean.
Hey, Sarah. How are you doing today?
Oh, hey, Jerry. How you doing? At Toro Horse Insurance, we believe in Oregon. And we also believe in the important service OCAMedia provides for our community. Toro Horse Insurance is happy to support programs like the one you are watching. Your locally owned and operated insurance agency, serving the needs of our community for over 40 years.
People often ask me how I find stories. They actually find me. However, I'm very observant and I am always looking. So in this story, I was at the library and I was on my way out the door, and between the two exit doors or entrance doors, depending how you look at it, there's a glass case, and in that glass case were these magnificent wooden toys, handmade. As I got closer, I realized the detail and I thought, I've got to find out who made these. So I did, with the help of the library. When I got to meet Dave, I realized how deep and devoted his passion was to doing this. And it reminded me of my Aunt Leona back working at the General Electric factory in New York. And her job for her entire life was putting together transistor radios. And once a year, she would take myself and my cousin Glenn for dinner at her house, make a dinner. But prior to that, we'd go shopping and we'd walk in a store. And I remember this one time where we're walking into the store and it's the holidays, just before Christmas, and she sees these transistor radios from General Electric and she picks up one. And the pride on her face was so amazing. We just don't see it today because we're not building and putting things together in mass production like we were 50 years ago, 60 years ago. And she turned it over and there's a number on it, and she knew by that number the day it was made, who made it, and again, the pride that she felt, just like Dave, as you will see in this next wonderful episode of Oregon Life.
We're honored to and very thankful that David Batker donated this beautiful train to us, to our museum, and we're just thrilled that we have it.
I saw the train in my catalog for many, many years, and I kind of shied away from the train. But then eventually I thought, well, it would be pretty slick to have a train because it's history and everything's involved in that. So I ordered the plans, went to work on it. Then the boiler, I had to turn out of a piece of solid walnut on the lathe. I did that and turned these out. All these pieces were made on my lathe. And that's all walnut, which is dark. And then I had to buy the wheels. I can't make those wheels. That's impossible. That's pretty much that, and the little dowels are about all that was purchased for this thing. So I decided what cars. I started with the engine, and then I had the caboose back here, and then I thought, well, this car and this car look good. This is cherry wood, and this is mostly oak, and that's a blend of cherry and oak back there on the caboose on the back end. And the rails were, I guess you could say, a #1 challenge to cut them on the table saw, to run that pieces of maple wood through there and get that it's just exactly the shape of a real rail. And it took a lot of doing. And then the very bottom piece is cherry, and the little cross ties are all oak. So I mixed woods in there. And as I said, I don't paint because I enjoy the wood. it's in the wood in itself, and the grains. And they hook together, all the trains hook together. It's not going to go very far because we can't get up too big of a head of steam, but other than that, it came out pretty well. I was pretty happy with the final result. Back when I was in my early 20s, I guess, my agriculture teacher in Verona offered a woodworking class in nights. And I did go to that, and there was quite a few of us. We had a good time there. And I started building a sewing machine cabinet, and then the spring's work came, and I forgot the sewing machine cabinet for about 25 years. But then eventually I found it and finished it. And then, gee, this is kind of fun. And started doing a little amateur creating toys and things, and eventually discovered Toys and Joys, which is a catalog with plans for just immense amount of things. And I've been working out of them along with a couple other catalogs. And then I see something I like, and if I can create it from pictures or whatever is available, I'll do that. And that's where we go. And the last thing I've done now is build a casket, which was a challenge. And I'm glad it's over with. I could do now I could do another one a lot easier, but I don't plan on it. And I'm not an artist. I'm a mechanical woodworker. I build things that I want them to look real. I have the greatest appreciation for artists that create things out of wood, but I don't have that talent to see something else that's not there. I've got to see something to make. And that's when I went into the Toys and Joys things, and just first, I don't know which ones I made first. I don't even remember. It's been quite a few years, but I made a simple thing or two, and then I made 6 dump trucks. I thought, gee whiz. And three friends of mine were very ill, and I gave one to each one. 2 of them have since passed away. One guy is recovered. And I've donated them to different projects. And that was kind of how it went. I enjoyed doing making the little small pieces. Doesn't take as much material. It isn't as expensive either. That's one thing about it. And once you start it, it just sort of takes off. I guess I've seen pictures of other guys with vast collections of things they've made in the model and toy department. Well, to build this fire truck here, first you get the plans from Toys and Joys. I got the plans from. I buy the wheels from them on this here, and that's about the dowels, the round dowels I buy. I'm not going to create those, but everything else has to be shaped, cut, and sometimes they get a little precarious, but they have pages like 1 through 9 in the plans, and you just start on page 1. You build probably the basic body underneath it, and then as it goes on, you just keep adding all the little pieces that go with it, and cutting and hoping they fit. And when they don't, you throw them away and do it again. And that's how it works until it's all done. This little light on top is something that was purchased. I didn't do that. And the little horns are actually golf tees for you golf fans. As far as golfing goes, they're better for me here. But that's how that works. You have to cut in the wheels. They are made solid, and you just cut out the different notches. And all these little bitty things are just careful with the tweezers and glue. And it keeps my old arthritic fingers moving. That's kind of how that works. There's no metal in any of the things I make. It's always either glued, mostly just glued together, sometimes little dowel pegs in there, but no, we don't use any metal. And some of the first things I made, I used screws and what all to put them together, but then I abandoned that totally. I don't want anything to pollute it, let's say. It's pure wood. And I do love the different kinds of wood. This is This is walnut. The dark is walnut. The light is maple. And there's some pine involved here and a few other odds and ends, but mainly I like to use the different wood grains and colors, and I don't paint them because I want the grains of the natural wood. Wood is my passion, and that's where it is. I want it to look like natural. Okay, the hydraulic cylinders on the side here that would be on a real one that lift it, and when they're metal, it's pretty simple, but when you have to drill this down through this one here all the way for this part to go in, that gets kind of touchy. You usually throw away 2 or 3 for every 2 that you get done, because the drill will go crooked in there one way or another. But I have a special little tool that I use. This is things like that make me look good, but actually it's someone else invented it, and it's the thing to have. So that's why I like little tools, little accessories like that. The biggest challenges is tracks, like on a tank or a bulldozer or a backhoe. Excuse me. Every little piece has little tracks that have to go together. Each one requires several cuts into it. Has to be drilled with a little tiny drill, both sides, and one side's one size and the other side's a different size. Then you glue another little piece on, and you glue 2 more little pieces on. And the little drills that go in here like to follow the grain of the wood and go cockeyed. So for every 100 you make, you probably throw 15 or 20 away because the holes aren't right. And it just takes forever. I made 3 tanks, and I think I made 240 of these pieces for those 3 tanks. So that was a challenge. That just took, and it's like working in a factory and making something small repetitive when things don't work right. But we got them done. I made an antique gas truck. I saw it in the catalog, and I thought it'd be kind of neat to make one. So I did create it, and my nephew owns Zerbuck and Oil in Verona there. So I took it up and I said, "How would you like this?" And not knowing whether he would appreciate it or not, and come to find out he had tried to restore a real one, but it had gotten to be such a challenge he gave it up. But he was pretty happy about that. He said, "I'm going to put this on a shelf here," and he said, "Every time one of the guys that drive for me complained, I'm going to tell him I want to get a truck like this and you can drive it." So that was how that went. And then I said, "Well," I said, "if you like it," I said, "make a donation to the Veterans National Home," and he did. The way I got some of my things in the library display case was Ken Anderson had his airplanes made out of pop cans and beer cans and things there, which was very, very impressive. And he said, "Why didn't I take some wood stuff up there?" And he told me who to call, and I talked to the lady there, Kelly, and so she said, "Oh, sure, when Ken's stuff came out, I could bring my stuff up there." So I picked out, I guess it was 5 different things, my wife and I, and we took them up, and they're there in the library in the display case if you'd like to see them. They'll be there till the end of December or the first week in January, and then someone else will be in there, and I'll have them back home again. So